All right, guys. I am here with Brandon McCaghren. How are you, man?
Dude, I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Man, we don't even know each other.
No, not at all. Not really.
Were you shocked? I mean, like, what did you think when you saw my message?
I was like, oh, this is fantastic, man. Like I've got one of the baddest dudes around, UFC vet, big time coach now. Incredible black belt. I saw you you had a I can't remember who you were against, but you had a match at like Fight to Win Pro or something like that not too long ago. I was like, man,
Yeah.
he's killing, dude.
Yeah. So look, this is what happened. I mean, I had 10 minutes to kill in my office at work before I was going to go train. And like, I think I had posted something on Instagram and you commented on it. And sometimes like definitely when people comment on my posts, I try to like check them out a little bit. And so I went to your profile and I was like, holy shit, this motherfucker's got 80,000 followers. Look at this, right? And no offense, I don't know who he is, right? Like, I was like, whoa. And you're making all these videos. So you're doing exactly what I'm trying to do, right? Like, yeah. So so I was like, all right, then this just means I need to talk to him. And what better way to talk to somebody than on my podcast? So, because, in my personal feeling, this is what we need to do in the world. Like, instead of like almost always everyone's first reaction can be jealousy when somebody else is where they want or what they're shooting for, even if you're successful in this one sense, right? But you're doing what I want to be doing. So at first you're like, God damn that motherfucker. And then I'm like, wait a minute, the only way out is in. So I got to talk to him. So there it is.
Bro, I say that's like exactly the phrase I say in the gym all the time. In is the way out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, because it is. In is the way out of everything. You're sad, go deeper. Whatever it is. What's that?
Yeah, you have to look inside right there, man.
Yeah, you can't. So just tell me about yourself, man. Like, where did this, so you're a 10th planeter. Were you always a 10th planeter or did you start in a different way?
Yeah, man. So I just got started with martial arts because I was just like, I didn't start until I was 26 years old.
And how old are you now?
I'm 39 right now.
Okay. Oh, we're the same age.
Yeah. So I was just like getting out of shape really bad, just overweight and not even like an athlete coming in. I didn't have aspirations to be a fighter. I just got started just like for my health reasons, you know? And so my wife and I started together on the same day. And we're both black belts in 10th Planet now. And I own a gym here in Decatur, Alabama. So I'm a first degree under Eddie Bravo, got all my ranks under Eddie, but we started with Tung Sudo and they just had like a grappling program.
No, hold on, man. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
You can't be serious right now.
Talk about it. What's up?
We're two 39-year-old bald dudes who started with Tung Sudo.
Yeah. Are you a black belt in Tung Sudo?
When did you start Tung Sudo?
That's when I started.
I got my. All right, so I started in 1986.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
No fucking way. That is crazy. I can't believe you said that. Okay, so you started Tung Sudo, and they had a grappling program there.
Yeah, a grappling program. He was a Japanese jiu-jitsu black belt, so he introduced a lot of those ideas to us. And then his name was Jamie Webster, super cool guy. Like, okay, so you've been in like martial arts a long time. Do you remember the show WMAC Masters? Like it was.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the Great Wolf?
Black Belt magazine.
Yes, Great Wolf from that show. That's who was my Tung Sudo instructor. So I got my black belt from the Great Wolf.
So that's why Jamie Webster sounds familiar.
Yeah, probably so.
Right.
Yeah, super cool guy and an incredible martial artist. And he was like, there was no Brazilian jiu-jitsu really out here too much even still, there's not that much, you know what I mean? Like it's Alabama, dude. You know what I mean? And we live in a small town in Alabama. So there's only 50,000 people here. So there was nobody to learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu from without making a drive and like a commitment that you didn't even know that you needed to make just yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or that you wanted to.
Yeah. So, well, knowing what we know now about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, we would make the drive on day one, right? But when you're a white belt, you don't understand that, or you're not even a white belt yet,
Right.
So anyway, so Jamie was learning what he could about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and we're all, fight fans and everything. And so anyway, Eddie came to teach a seminar like an hour and a half away. And one of my friends was like, hey, you want to go to this Eddie Bravo seminar? I was like, who's Eddie Bravo? Anyway, we went and I was like, oh man, I need to know everything I can about this. And so
Right.
that began a 13-year obsession, like, total obsession.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I hear you. My obsession started in '86. Yeah. Not with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but yeah, with karate, Tang Soo Do at first, and then it moved on. So Decatur, like,
Yeah.
so you're the only school there?
Yeah, we're the only
Now?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school in town.
Okay. And like, how's that work? Because sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing, right? Like sometimes like Coke needs Pepsi, right? Like
I
Coke,
feel that. Yeah.
right?
Well, what we had to do was educate the market. So like the market
Right, that's
didn't
hard.
know what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was. And so it, the school started here when I was a blue belt. Like we were in the back of that karate school of Webster's Karate. And so we had a little 10th Planet affiliate with me as a blue belt, just trying to basically get training partners. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to convince people that they should come train. And so it was an affiliate, but we were just like lowest of the low. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you're a blue belt as an
Yeah.
affiliate, so
Lowest
sure.
of the low. And so nobody wants to stay. And so anyway, you just, eventually you get good enough, but the market still doesn't know like that they should be coming and learning about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because they don't even know what it is.
Dude, people mess this up all the time. They think they want to go somewhere where there's no school, and that they're just wrong. You're wrong. Look,
I
you
agree.
don't want to.
It takes a long
You
time.
don't want to go. You don't want to go compete with Gracie Baja, right? Like that. That might be a mistake. Possibly. I don't know. It depends on how good you can teach, how well you can teach. But you want to go somewhere where everyone knows what's going on. Like bringing something new to market is way harder than anything else there is to do, especially a new market. And I don't know, what's the economy in Decatur like? That could also be a huge factor, right?
Yeah, it's a huge factor. It's definitely a huge factor. But so people don't have as much money over here for sure, but the cost of living is like ultra low compared to other places too. So it does kind of balance out to where people live about the same kind of lifestyle,
Okay.
Different culture's a little different. It's the South, but so it ain't always Starbucks we're spending our money on, but you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I got an Alabama story. You ready?
Please lay it on me.
So I'm a black Jew. Okay. So I'm super,
we don't know nothing about that down here, man.
Yeah, I know. So like my whole life I've grown up like super like paying attention to like, am I safe or not? Right. Like,
okay. Yeah.
Because that's just my grandparents were Holocaust survivors and I grew up with them a lot. Like I saw them 4 times a week. So that mantra of make sure you're safe. And my dad was super poor and he was my dad's black, my mom's white. So I get both sides of it there. So that was always like this theme in my house, right? Like be safe, be aware of who you're dealing with, So it's my first time in Alabama. I'm there to coach a friend, and I need the airport I fly into is far away from where we were going, so somebody had to come pick me up, right? So this white truck, I mean, it couldn't have been more stereotypical, bro. This white truck rolls up, this dude with this mullet and a Confederate flag in the back of his truck, right, with a shotgun hanging on the truck, and he's like, "Hey, Eliot," and I'm like, huh? I'm like, fuck. I'm like, am I getting in this truck? Like I don't know. This does not look real safe to me. Like I can fight and all, right? But I don't want to have to, especially like guns involved. Like, whew. So anyway, I got in the truck and it worked out okay, but I was fucking scared the whole time.
Yeah. So how did that turn out? Like what? Like they were cool.
He was cool. He was cool. He's totally cool. Yeah, he's totally cool. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
But just like
strange. Like people, we can compartmentalize so much,
yeah.
So they can be opposite things at the same time. Like it's crazy. Man.
Yes. It's really crazy. He can be totally opposite things. And he was so cool to me. Like I'm like, and I'm not super black, but you can still look at me and tell. And I'm just like, dude, like this, how is this okay? Like, and we had a 2-hour car ride together. and it was totally cool with his Confederate flag and his gun and my black Jewish ass. You know?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting story. Did that do anything to kind of change your perception about him, or I guess about those stereotypes, or was it just like, no, I got lucky on this one?
You know, I think about it. I think it's one of our biggest problems in the world, or I won't say the world, but definitely our country, is I would say that if I know one thing about you, I then know everything about you. Like, for example, in a different sense, if you are pro Second Amendment, right? Let's say, you know, then therefore you are pro-life, anti-gay marriage, right. Just because, you know. So I think this is a problem that we've got going on.
We tend to paint with a really big brush, don't we? Like,
yeah.
As soon as just what you said, as soon as I know one thing about you, now I know your identity. I can throw you into this basket right here, or into this group. You now, oh, that's true about you. These things are also true, and that's just like ultra dangerous, man.
Well, the problem is that it is going that way. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it's not like it's not, and it needs to shift. That I think that the problem is I think that is a little true, where I want to meet an anti-Second Amendment pro-life person. You know, like, because though they shouldn't be the same, right? Like they should be those are two opposite, you know?
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Like, I think
they should be technically.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I think people can hold multiple ideas at this. Like, for instance, I was just listening to Sam Harris. You know who Sam Harris is?
I love Sam Harris.
Okay, did you hear Megan? I can't remember what her last name is. The girl from Westboro Baptist that left Westboro Baptist.
I listened to that one years ago. He had her one years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is a brand new one with her also.
Oh, okay.
So the whole thing is about escaping a Christian cult, is what it's called.
Right.
And she talks about, you know, how for her and her family, like, she had this great experience growing up as a child because it was full of love from her grandfather. And so she sees these people as happy, and that's her tribe, you know what I mean? But at the same time, those people are full of hate as well. Like, right. How can both of those, like, they love people and they hate people? How can both of those things be true? But
it's so crazy.
We're strange, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's strange.
I get into this argument with my mom all the time because my mom, not to get political, and I don't really care where you stand, I guess, but my mom viciously hates Trump, like viciously, to the point where she doesn't have any friends anymore. She has disowned her friends that voted that way. And I'm like, Mom, like, and
that's the way we do Auburn fans.
She's like, well, they're haters. Yeah. And I'm like, Mom, what's your argument? And she's like, well, they are haters. And I'm like, so you're choosing to come back with that? Like, let's just say you're right. Like, I'm not going to argue the point of their haters, but you're choosing to combat that with more hate, right? Like how about go a different way, you know? And let alone my mom scares the shit out of me, man, because every time she won't keep her mouth shut about it. She gets in arguments. Dude, she gets in arguments with people and says, you must be a Trump voter, like in public to somebody, you know? And I'm like, Mom, like, you're 70. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to fly across the country and come fuck somebody up because you deserved a beating, but they still hit my mom. You know?
That's the way it goes, though.
Right?
You got to ride with your mom no matter what.
Right? If somebody did that to your mom, you'd be like, all right, well, shit, you were wrong, Mom, but here you
gotta die now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing, man, right? Like, tell me more about like that, like that whole what else was on that Westboro Baptist thing with Sam Harris, because that's such an interesting thing, right there. They love and they hate.
Yeah. Oh, well, so she was just talking about her upbringing in it and how normal it was for her as a little girl to be out there kind of on the picket line with those people.
Right.
It was her family. And one of the things that Sam was talking about, it's that dichotomy of
right.
how could these people be standing? And because if you've ever seen the videos of it, they stand out there and they got big smiles on their face and stuff. Like they're happy when they're out there. They're giggling. They're spending time together. Like it's a recreational activity for them as well.
They do, like we do jujitsu, right?
Yes,
like we bond at jujitsu. They're bonding. You're gonna burn in hell.
Yeah, yeah. It was, and so he was asking like how, and so they were just digging in on all of that, and she was talking about, that dichotomy of two opposites existing at the same time.
How did you get into Sam Harris?
I mean, I've been into Rogan and them forever, so that's how I heard about him. Was back in the day, probably the first time he was on Rogan's podcast.
So I mean, just stereotypically though, right? Like good old country boy like yourself from Decatur, Alabama, right? Like you're not on the Sam Harris bandwagon. That's just all stereotypical joking, right? But you're not on the Sam Harris bandwagon there. He normally has a big cities and you know, like his people in New York, LA, you know.
Yeah, Alabama. I guess that's the stereotype, but I mean, it's out here as a majority of, you know, really conservative Republican, what would you consider conservative thinking? That's the vast majority, but that doesn't mean it's not, you know, we out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get at. You're out there, right? Like, so it's just, I just sound
the same, you know?
Sure. But I think it's really,
I really don't get too political
it's
myself. I try to be a person who can hold opposite ideas at the same time. I don't want to have opposite ideas of hate and love at the same time. Like I want to be only love, but I do want to be able to hold up opposite truths in my life. It's like a suspension bridge. You know what I'm saying? Like a suspension bridge is held up by opposite strengths, equal and opposite strengths. That's what gives us the strength to cross that wide chasm sometimes. You know, it's the yin and the yang. It's the black and the white. We need those opposite truths in our mind to be held strong at the same time in order to be complete. And it's that passage between those opposite truths really where the color of life exists anyway.
It's the figuring out of how to walk through that, I think, together, right? Yeah. Like with these opposite truths, like that's the whole point of quote unquote a government in politics is helping us weave it together so that, you know, this guy down here in Decatur, Alabama, right, can be helped out by the same government that's over there helping this person in Los Angeles who, I mean, like lives just totally different lifestyles, you know, but we are under one banner, and that is the human banner, you know, and the human flag, not so much the American flag. And I'm not saying I don't love America, you know, but we are, you know, we are all like a people, one people.
Yeah. And those opposite truths, being able to so you were talking about coming down and spending time with that dude, and like, how can those things be true? Mm-hmm. You know, like, but it's the idea that we have a place where those things can be true. And because we understand that sometimes somebody can hold opposite truths that we may not agree with, that doesn't mean I can't ride in the car with this dude right here. In fact, it might mean that we're going to have a chance to come together a little closer, because we live in a place where we can spend this kind of time together, and because we are the kind of people that can understand that sometimes I can be a real piece of trash, and sometimes I can be great, and sometimes I can be those things at the same time.
Yeah, at the same exact time. Where do you stand on Sam Harris's free will talk? Have you listened to a lot about that?
Yeah, I've listened to, dude, I got to be honest with you. He's almost too smart for me to even listen to sometimes. Like,
I hear you. I've listened to it 5 times.
I wanna be there so bad, but I don't know, man. I do come from a super conservative religious background, and so it wasn't until later, like into my mid to late 20s, that I really started to open up, like philosophically and stuff too. So, you know, I'm super intrigued by stuff like that, especially like hearing about that story about Megan. I think it's Megan Phelps Roper is her name, or Megan Roper Phelps. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it.
We'll look it up. It's okay.
One of those two.
Go look it. Hey, guys, go Google. Go Google. That's why we have Google.
So that stuff does interest me. I do think that we have free will, but I believe I understand his argument. It just, at the same time, I don't feel his argument. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I understand it. I think I understand it intellectually, at least a bit. You know, I'm sure I don't get the level that he's trying to bring it down. But I feel like free will, like I do have free will. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but I think I know, because I agree with him though. I think it's an illusion.
Look, it might be an illusion, but a placebo can work.
Yeah, for sure. No, we know the placebo works.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, it's just such a simple, interesting argument, right? Like it's, I think where people get hung up on it is they say that they think he's saying that we don't have a choice, like it's all determined, and that's not what he's saying, right? Because what he's saying is that you could make no other choice in the very moment based on what has happened to you previously, right? What has happened to you previously combined with your chemical makeup.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I think about, something as simple as just quitting in the last round. Like there's 2 rounds left in practice.
Right.
And, I can sit the last one out or I can go. And I think about something as simple as that feels 100% like my decision that I'm going to make or not. You know what I mean? Once I realize it's a decision.
Right.
So, but yeah, maybe bro, I'm from Decatur, Alabama, though. I'm just trying to get by out here, man. I don't know.
I hear you.
I know, man. I ain't gonna quit that last round, though, Coach.
No,
I'm gonna go.
Let's go, Coach. Put me in the game. Coach, put me in the game. Man, this is so interesting, man. Because I'm loving this pod. I'm loving talking to you even more. Like, because again, I didn't know what I was getting, right? Like, and you didn't know what you were getting.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do no scouting reports on your podcast early. I was like, well, let's just go.
Let's just go. Exactly. Let's just go. Let's just see what happens. Maybe we would hate each other and we would have to figure that out. But it's looking like
that would have been fun, though.
It would have been interesting. It would have been interesting, But it's looking like we have more in common, right?
I think so. Yeah,
a lot more in common. We have the same beard. We have the same head.
Oh, I got no choice on the hair.
Me either, man. Me either, bro. We're in the same spots. We started with Tang Sudo. Now we're in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We, Rogan, Harris, all of it. So let's get more back to the Jiu-Jitsu. So you start as a blue belt. You open the affiliate, right?
Yeah.
And then where to go from there? Like you said, it wasn't easy. You were the first to market. You were in a small school.
Yeah, so I never really had aspirations to be a world champion or anything like that. That just wasn't. I really when we started, I didn't even know that was a thing. You know what I mean? I was out of shape and UFC was cool. Let's do some martial arts. You know what I'm saying? So, I started competing early just because I liked that kind of thing, and I found out that there were competitions, and it gave me. Yeah, a reason. The weight classes thing was really the thing that helped me lose weight, was that there were weight classes and these guys were way stronger than me.
Right.
So anyway, what was I saying right before that? I don't remember. So
you weren't even thinking about being a world champion?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, talking about coming up as a blue belt. It was just, I was just obsessed. You know what I mean? I was obsessed early. That's just the way I do. I suck at everything in my life except for I can play a guitar and I can choke people. That's the only 2 things I'm really good at, right? And I'm pretty good at Instagram. That's it. So
we're going to talk about that.
Let's get to
it. About Instagram in a minute here, but I need to get better at Instagram.
I got
but
tips.
Go ahead. All right.
But I just was looking for people to train with and learn with, and I wanted to get better and better and better. And so I had a job and I was just, there's 3-4 guys show up to train and that's what we do. And it never was I'm going to be a school owner one day. Not never, but it wasn't the goal,
Right.
But then as I got more and more obsessed and I was just at the gym more and more, I was like, man, I think I can make a run at this thing. I think we could have a nice facility and it's a great way. It's just a great way to help people, man. It had done so much for me, and so much from like my family. Like me and my wife are training together. This is a quality activity that we have together that we're spending every night training together, man. You know, and then we're talking about, so it was just a constant, it was something that like gave extra glue for our marriage. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
right.
so, man, I want to be able to pass that to people, what it had done for our health, all that stuff. And plus, man, I just think it's just so good. Just so many people from different walks of life come through, even in Decatur, Alabama, that you're just forced to grow as a person in that situation.
It comes back to what we were talking about a second ago, right? Like you got the richest rich dude pulling up in a Lamborghini, possibly, right? Like rich as fuck CEO, and then you got this poor kid who like had to take the bus or the train, and when they get on the mat, none of those differences, nobody even thinks about it, right? Nobody even thinks about it. It's this thing where we come together. I think that's why we love that. Look, I say I don't get paid to teach jiu-jitsu. I get paid to the school makes money. Like we charge to change your life. You know, we charge to like show you the path of what a better life is like. Now the vehicle is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we have Muay Thai kickboxing as well. You know, so that is the vehicle that we're going to go in. That's free. That is 100% free in my opinion. I'm going to take you on this thing that's going to change your motherfucking life.
Yeah, I tell people that they're just paying for the training partners. I'm going to be here teaching. But you got to pay to use my training partners because I don't want you hurting them when you're new. I got a nice facility and I got training partners, but I'm going to be here teaching.
It's my thing. I won't charge. I'll never charge to teach a class. Like I don't pay myself to teach a class. I teach privates for free. Please don't hit me up.
Whenever philosophy on private lessons. Yeah, I don't do a lot of.
I just hate doing them. I hate them. I can't stand them. You know, it's not. I don't think it's the best way to learn. I get the novelty of it. Maybe, you know, like if somebody
there's no reason for my students to be taking a private lesson from me.
No,
like I might want to take a private lesson from you. Like, oh, hey, I'm just in town for the weekend. Right. You know what I'm saying? But students, dude, just ask me. I'll tell you everything I know. I'll give it all.
Yeah. When do you want?
Free?
Yeah. You know what? On Saturday, I'm going to be here a little early. Come. Bring a partner because you're not doing it on me.
Yes, that's the worst part. But there's some people that are fun to be around, you know, and so like, oh, that's your boy, and so it's whatever. But yeah, generally, I really don't teach too many private lessons. I have one private lesson client right now. One.
I mean, I taught a lot coming up as like a purple belt because I had to make a living, you know, and there's people that want them, and I guess I understand that, but but now, no way. Like, it's not happening. I mean, all I do is teach for free, so just come to one of my classes, and I don't hold anything back. Do you hold anything back?
No, of course not.
Right?
Nobody who respects themselves does.
Well, it used to be the way to do it. So before 2006, right? Before the internet, man, right? It was, you had like that, like private classes were the way. Like, so that's how jiu-jitsu started, right? Like,
that's the way they did it in the garage. That's really the way Eliot did it, right? Like,
it was all
only
private
did
class.
private lessons pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it probably different people's teaching style really affects that, how they feel about privates and group classes too. Don't you think?
The internet changed the game, man.
Yeah,
because you could do what you're doing, right? You could learn from Eliot or whatever, and then all of a sudden you put it on the internet, and now Eliot can't hold back anymore.
Yeah, dude. You know what I tell people all the time? I tell people that I'm like the first generation of YouTube black belts. Like, you know, we've always used that as like, oh, Mr. YouTube over there. But really, honestly, 2006 is the year that YouTube started. YouTube started in 2006. I started in 2006. You know what I mean? And so YouTube Jiu-Jitsu came up side by side. I just wish everybody would admit they've been learning off YouTube for a long time. Some people have been learning off YouTube a long time, bro.
But that changed the game though,
I
man.
know,
Like
I know.
jiu-jitsu
For the
took
better.
the fuck off. Yeah, for the better. Now, I don't agree with all these slapdicks putting their shit on YouTube and thinking that it works. Like that does annoy me a little bit sometimes. Like,
No, I'm saying
I'm
saying that you can learn from YouTube is what I'm saying. Like you can learn from video.
You can learn from video, but you need a teacher.
Well, you need a teacher and training partners, regular
Training partners.
You have to be rolling.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You need a teacher though, because there's a philosophy that I do believe that's behind jiu-jitsu, that you have to have a philosophy of how you go through it. Like I don't think 100%. You can just learn you can't learn like random move A and random move B and then try to like put them together. That doesn't work. You need someone to help you do that.
Yeah, well, in order to really like dive into the deep parts of jiu-jitsu, you need a Musashi, you need somebody to guide you. Well, I think that's true with any art, especially. Like, so you were going to learn to sing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to learn to sing like other people before you can learn to sing like you.
Yes. You know? You can't be an innovator right away. You're just not. It's not how it works.
Well, you don't have the chops. You don't have the chops in the beginning.
Yeah. I read this book called Mastery, and it talked about the apprenticeship phase.
That's Robert Greene.
How, like, right, you know? And it was so good. Like, he's like, look, this is a 7 to 10 year process, and everyone wants to skip this process now. We just want to jump right to the mastery. Like, and we want to be a master really fast. It's hard for me. I look at your YouTube and your Instagram, and I'm like, God damn, I want that tomorrow. I want that tomorrow. But it's a process, right?
Yeah, it is. Everything's a process. You know, like I started out, I've been a musician pretty much my whole life. Dude, I just have been playing 20 something years, and I feel like I'm just now getting started. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to sit at the feet of the greats every now and then and follow what they've laid out. So I couldn't possibly agree more. And more than that, though, with jiu-jitsu especially, there's a touch that can't be translated. Like, there's just a feeling of.
That's a good point.
You know, like the old guys talk about that. Like the old Brazilians will really talk about like I used to hear Hickson would say it. So I've been to a couple of Hickson seminars. I don't know Hickson. Right. Let me get that right out the way. It's not like I train with Hickson, but he has had a big influence on my jiu-jitsu, you know. And I remember the first time I went and trained with him, I was a white belt. And he was saying, I'll never put my stuff on video because there's no way that you can understand what I'm doing by seeing it. And I do agree with what he's saying, but I think that you can learn to teach those things over time. Like, but you know, him talking about his connection, his invisible jiu-jitsu and stuff, like there's some special stuff going on. I don't know that his is like ultra more special than somebody like a Jean-Jacques or whatever, you know what I mean? But I get what he's trying to say. Like, he didn't want to put his stuff out there for everybody at that time, but then he ended up doing it anyway.
I agree with what he's saying, like in the sense where he's saying like you can't see what it feels. Yes. Right? That makes sense. Yes. Right? Like when he says put your hand here and do this and then you squeeze, there's no way that you can see that on the video. And this is why you need a teacher.
Yes.
Right? However, in my opinion, the goal is to spread jiu-jitsu to as many people as possible. Because I don't believe it's my religion. Jiu-jitsu is. I don't believe that there's a better way to walk through life than Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Like if you, it's rule number 1. I got these 6 rules for my kids. It is rule number 1, and I'll let them break rule number 1 if they can convince me of something better that's going to form them into a better adult human.
I like that, man. That's rule number 1. How old are your kids?
I got a 9 and a 6-year-old.
All right, mine are 14 and 11.
All right, you're a little older.
I got a 14-year-old boy. I got married when I was 20 years old. Me and my wife were 20 years old when we married.
I was 21. My wife was 24, but I had my career, so I waited a little bit. But go ahead.
Yeah, but again, that's another difference in the culture in the South. Like, everybody marries early, kids early. Like, not everybody, but you know what I'm saying. That is,
I know what you're saying.
Normal, just normal. But yeah, we got married at 20. I don't remember when I saw him. Oh yeah, we had kids at 24. So my son is 14, and he helps kind of teach the jiu-jitsu classes with the little kids. And
nice,
you know, my daughter, she's 11. She's a beast, bro. she's the one, like, she wants to be the king of the world. Like, she wants to take over. So we'll see. We'll see what she does. She wants
the whole world. Fuck Hillary. It's going to be your daughter.
She wants it all. But she wants it. She wants to be the jiu-jitsu queen of the world. So okay, we'll see, baby.
Good, man.
She loves to compete.
Good. I love it, man. This whole thing with our kids of not letting them fuck up and not letting them fail. That's my number one with jiu-jitsu. That's my number one of why jiu-jitsu is so good, because it's the only way we learn is through failure. And
Bro,
you can't help but fail.
I just put a video out on my YouTube called Seek Failure, like last week. It's called Seek Failure. And I preach this with myself, honestly, with myself all the time. And so I'm qualified to preach it to my guys because I live this. I want to lose. Now, I don't want to lose. I do not want to lose, but I am desperate to lose. Do you know what I'm saying? It's those opposite truths. I'm going to try my absolute hardest. I ain't going to lose. Hey, coach, put me in there. You can count on me. I ain't going to lose. But I want the one that can beat me. You know what I'm saying?
I just had to go through it with ADCC, right? 40 years old. 40 years old, getting an invite, you know? And you're and like two kids, 7 schools, wife, business, right? Like, shit, man. These motherfuckers train like I work. Because I used to be them, right? Like, I used to train like that, and I don't now. And I was never a world champion. So I'm looking at it like, fuck yeah, I'm going. Right?
Dude, you have to.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
You get invited to ADCC, you have to go.
Yeah.
How could you sleep? How could you live with yourself if you didn't go after that invite?
I'll tell you how, because most people, because you know you're going to lose most likely.
So
exactly. So what?
It ain't going to be my first time. If I got invited to ADCC, it ain't going to be my first loss if I take one. You know?
Of course. And man, it was really this cool experience for me, because I got this in my head. I got to be like, you know what, man, I'm probably going to get like Buchecha or Yuri or whoever, like somebody really good first, like a 2-time, 3-time champ, because I'm going to have a very low seed. So I was like, look, I'm not going to hold on to a loss. I can escape side control all fucking day long. Right. Like, I can sit there and get my guard passed and like, but I'm going to go out and kill or be killed. Right. Like, I'm not, if I'm going to make,
who did you end up with?
I had Yuri. You know,
tell me about the match. How it went down. I got you. Go.
So my match was like this. So before the match, I was like, all right, here we go. I was like, because a lot of times in my head, and tell me if this is your experience as well, sometimes when you compete, you can get caught up in not fucking up, not making a mistake.
Yeah,
right?
It's paralyzing.
So, and then it paralyzes you for the whole match, right? Where nothing happens, right? So I was like, so in my head, I was like, you know what? Like the week before I even knew who I had, I was like, as long as I don't get Orlando, because I'm not going to do this to Orlando, because this won't go well at all. There's no possibility of success, and that would suck. I'm going to Imanari out the gate, right? I'm going to Imanari roll out the gate, because most likely it's going to go poorly, and I'm going to have to recover from that and try to get back in the match. And there's no points, right? Like, so you don't have to worry about giving up points in the first 5 minutes of the match.
Right.
So, but if it goes bad, I'm going to be in a bad spot, and then we'll move on from that bad spot. Or I'm going to hit this amazing move on a champ, and I'll be on a highlight reel for the rest of my fucking life. Right? Like Eddie Bravo, right? Eddie Bravo, finished Hoyler, has never placed at ADCC, right?
That's
like
it.
Never placed, you know, but it don't matter. He fucking tapped out Hoyler. So that was my goal. And I went out there and I Imanari'd, and it went fucking terrible. Yuri did this, like, Yuri was like, oh, look at you old man, inverting, right? Like, just smashed me right down. Like, I ended up head turned the wrong way, him inside my fucking arm. I was like, oh shit, this sucks. Right? Like, you know, so I had to work my way out, you know, and I worked my way out, and then we went after it. And then when the points started, I think there was like a minute left, and he had just passed. And I was like, okay, Eliot, you're not going to hold on to this. You know, there's only one way out here. So I was like, you're going to give your back, and you're going to give your back, and then you're going to give the arm. And when he doesn't,
you're going to get out of that thing. Yeah.
And I'm going to go right on the ashi, right? I'm going to go right on the ashi because his leg's going to be over my body, like from the arm to back escape, and it didn't go well. Actually, it went perfectly. I just bitched out a little bit. Like my arm was popping, and I knew that it was just going to pop a little bit.
Dude,
it wasn't going to
tap.
Yeah, I tapped.
Bro, I am the king of tapping. I'm the earliest tapper in my gym. There's no way I'm getting hurt on a submission. There's no way.
No, I agree. I agree. That's why I tapped.
I'm trying to train tomorrow too. In fact, I'm probably trying to train later tonight. You know what I mean?
Later tonight. Yeah.
So
it's one of those things. And it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. Like I got to do ADCC.
Good for you, man. I did not. So yeah. I'm jelly right there.
You still have a shot. It's in America now again.
No, I definitely don't have a shot. Not the way I'm training. I'm training soft these days. I train every day, but I am not pushing that cardio. I don't care what weight class I'm in. I'm not a big dude. I'm not out of shape, but yeah.
Oh, I did ultra heavy.
I just want to train.
I did 99 plus. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward as far as the competition goes, because that was so cool for me, to be able to do that. Like I'll probably compete a little more, but I don't have the itch.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It doesn't interest me. It just doesn't. I mean, and I was never there was never a possibility that I was going to rise to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Even if I would have had to had a real great coach early, but I was Eddie was in Los Angeles early. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I'm not saying I learned by myself, but man, I was relying on YouTube. I was needing YouTube. I needed mastering the system. I needed Eddie's website, and I needed to. So I would travel to LA and, spend way too long in Los Angeles, that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, maybe if I would have had somebody early on, like, no, don't put your hand here, put it here. No, stop. Right. That's a terrible idea. You should never do that to start the match. Oh, no, right. You need to seek failure. I had to learn to seek failure. You know what I'm saying? But,
yeah.
What do you think of John, what I'm saying is your students are lucky.
Yeah, and that's what I have to do as a teacher now, in my opinion, right? Like, is to pass that knowledge along.
Yeah, shorten the learning curve.
Yeah, and it's so short. Look at Gordon, man, 5 years, right?
Bro.
6 years. Jesus.
We used to think that wasn't really possible. You know what I mean? Like, BJ Penn did it. He's a freak. And then, dudes, people start popping up. Like, I watched that happen with Gio Martinez and his brother. Like,
yeah,
I think I might have been a purple belt when they started. And then I turned around and I was still a purple belt, and they were fixing to be black belts. You know what I mean? Like, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And they were legit. Like, Gio beat Jeff Glover that same year. Like, what just happened? How did that happen?
Dude, it's stupid, man. It's stupid how fast these kids can get. You're right? Like, it is insane. Like, they can, and it just, and that's, that's what the internet did. The internet.
So you don't think that the athletes are any different? You think just the education is different? Maybe the pedagogy is different? Like, our educational model is different?
Yeah. How we can learn is different. For example, is when you say the athlete being different, I don't think it's the athlete being different, because you're only comparing yourself to the other current athletes.
Okay, fair.
Right? So the best 20 years ago, like the cream of the crop 20 years ago, like if you take all of those same guys and you put them now, they'd still be they'd be the cream of the crop, because that's what it was.
The cream of the crop, yeah.
Yeah. So I think John Donaher changed the game, though. What do you think?
He's definitely, dude, I think it's really clear he's the best coach that we have in the sport. I think that's obvious and clear. Regardless of what you think about his game or his style or whatever, yeah, he for sure changed the game. So, yeah, man.
The system of things. Eddie started it. Eddie started it with the system.
Eddie was the first guy that I ever saw lay out a path. Like, A, B, C. Even Jean-Jacques, was like an obsession of mine for several years early on. Even his books would be cool move, cool move, cool move, cool move, But Eddie would go, okay, here's a cool move. And here's the path and the steps that one must follow to achieve this cool move. And that would be the way that he would teach,
Yeah, and then when cool move A gets shut down, it will lead to cool move B.
Yeah, it was a path, like a system is the way that he's always described it.
Before it was, okay, today we are going to do armbar from the mount. And tomorrow we are going to do defend the back. And nobody can learn like that takes so long to get good. Like that's impossible. Like, because you can't, like, I don't know how you guys do it, but the way we do it is I spend, like right now we just started our Kimura study. So we are studying the Kimura. It's going to be 3 months of Kimura.
3 months. We do 1 month.
3 months.
So so here's the way I put my curriculum together every month. We start with, so like, let's say, hey, Brandon, when are we going to work on leg locks? Oh, okay. This is leg lock month. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a flow, a relatively short flow.
Yes.
That builds, and in that flow is taught the most important fundamental skills, right? So the things that I want you to get the most reps on through the course of the month, I put those in the flow. So it's not like haphazard, oh, here's a cool series of cool moves we do. The flow is built intentionally, and it may not even be the way that you're going to see this move manifested most regularly, but it is the way that's going to teach you the best. So let me get that going in the flow. And then the next 2 classes, for the flow, every student's required 200 reps on that flow by the end of the month. So everybody's going to get 200 on the most fundamental thing that I think is important, no matter what, right? Just the class is built that way. We open. If you just come to class twice a week, we open with 25 reps twice a week for the beginners. 8 times you hit 200 on accident. You didn't even have to try.
Right, right.
And so that's like a minimum, like you're only coming twice a week. You're just getting started probably, and you're still going to hit that. Our second 2 classes are always the 80-20. So the Pareto principle of 20% of your work yields 80% of your results. So what we do, or what I do, is I structure the next 2 classes are the most common scenarios you're going to see. Common scenario, if A, then B, just like what you said. And then if A and he shuts down B, then this way, something like that. So we call it the 80-20. And then we build entries and contingency plans for the rest of the month.
Man, we teach so similar.
Because it's a good way to teach.
It's the
people that care find that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best way to teach. Like, so we have the way we have 3 levels of classes. We have fundamentals, intermediate, and advanced.
Yeah.
And in our fundamentals, you have to teach some moves in fundamentals, right? Because they come in, it's their first day. They're like, escape the mount. What's the mount? Right? So you have, but yes, it goes in a flow. Okay, you're going to do a basic hook sweep, come up, do a little guard pass, mount, step over, mount them, and now escape. And now it's your turn. But I think one of the biggest things, especially, and this is what the flow takes care of really well, I'm so stoked you said it, is people get so stuck in doing a move because that's how they learn.
Yes.
And then when they go train, they
don't have
accomplish said move, right? And then they stop, right? And then they stop. They're like, oh, I passed the guard. But the goal is not passing the guard. The goal is getting the finish, right? The goal's like you have to tap somebody. That's what you're trying to do. Or they get so stuck in the failure of their said move. So they stop again. They're like, oh, I was trying this sweep and it didn't work. And I got my guard passed. Fuck. Right?
Yeah, we call that the heartbreak moment.
Yeah. But what the flow teaches is it doesn't matter because you didn't tap yet or you didn't tap them yet. So just keep moving. Moves don't work, but you got to keep moving.
Dude, moves don't work, but movement works.
Yes.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not looking for moves. I'm looking for movement. I'm looking for proper movement. I'm chasing the fundamentals, the principles. And if I'll chase weight distribution, leverage, connection, if I'll chase these things, then I'll always find the right move. It'll manifest itself before me. It'll create itself.
And your right move, how big are you? What do you weigh?
I'm a chunky 175 right now.
Yeah, man, your right move is not going to be my right move. And I got this, man. One of my best students is this little 115-pound girl. You think she's going to do my moves? right?
Who is it?
And
What's her
I'm a
name?
coach. Her name is Ana Mayadora Garcia. She's a
Nice.
stud, right? She's got the possibility. She wants to be a world champion. She could do it. But come on, man. She's a 115-pound chick. I got to watch 115-pound chick jiu-jitsu and then try to learn it, right? So I can help her. She ain't doing my shit, right? She's never smashed past a day in her life.
I have a brown belt, a female brown belt there in your area. She's from Boulder. Her name's Fabiana George. Do you know Fabi?
Yeah. Where's she trained?
Well, so she's 10th Planet at
Yeah.
Boulder. She's at 10th Planet, or she was in Boulder. I think she's at the one in Denver now.
They just moved in Denver. Okay,
yeah, with Connor. But she's just jumping around looking for great training partners, man. We should put them together. She's a killer brown belt.
I teach every Tuesday, Thursday night, no gi. I only teach no gi, right? Like I have other people that teach the gi. They're more into it, so I only teach no gi as well. So yeah, I mean, we have a great system. I have a great team here. Like we got like a CEO and CFO and all that stuff. So we're trying to change the world with martial arts.
I love it.
So I can't possibly teach all
It's
the classes.
Easton, right? Is it Easton?
Easton, yeah. Easton Training Center.
My friend Chris, he used to work with Zen Planner. I think he just
Mears Wag?
Yeah,
man, he works for me. He's about to open. He's about to be the GM of a school.
I'll tell him I said, "What's up, man?"
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, he quit Zen Planner because he was like, you know what, man, fuck this life. I want to do, like, he liked Zen Planner, but he's like, I want to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he called me. He's like, hey, man, I ain't going to be your rep anymore. I'm going in. I was like, dude, yes, you need to be, man.
He crushes it, bro.
He's the man. He's a cool guy, dude.
I love him, man. I love him. He's been with us. When did he move out? I don't know. 6-7 years ago. We hang out all the time. He's like part of my little squad, right? Like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like higher belts that we all like, have text message threads that we talk shit and stuff.
Yeah, we rolled a couple of times. Like he was in Vegas at the same time as me a few times. Like we were just down there training and stuff. So he's a good dude, man. I like him.
Fuck yeah. What was I gonna say? Tell me about how you did this. I'm gonna talk to you more offline too because I need help.
Lay it on me.
What got you started with this YouTube thing? Like you have a whole, I'm looking at your setup here. You have a whole studio kind of, and like the YouTube, Instagram, like what are you doing?
Man, my idea was just that I wanted to just give value away. Like I just wanted to share what I was doing. That was it.
You said give it away.
Yeah.
You said give it away, right?
Yeah, give it away. Like you said, I teach jiu-jitsu for free.
You need to get paid, man.
Yeah, but I give it away. Like I want you to win this exchange that you and I are having today. Like if we're gonna have some kind of social barter right here, I want you to come out on the good end of it. I'll get mine in the long run. I'm playing the longest game that I can play, always, right?
Always.
Like you ever heard Chris Howder's speech where he goes, "Listen, in jiu-jitsu, it's not about who's best; it's about who's left." Yeah. So that's my theory on a lot of things, man. That's how I learned to play guitar. That's how I've learned jiu-jitsu. Like everybody I started with, except my wife, faded away. They all faded. Where are they at? And all those promising blue belts, where'd they go? And I look around, where's that dude that used to run that school? They're all fake, not all, but it's not who's best, it's who's left. And so with social media, I got a great idea for a web series that I'm going to do. Every week I'm going to do Technique Tuesday. Where'd your Technique Tuesday go, bro? You did it for 4 weeks and it's gone. You know what I'm saying? I just don't stop. So
that's it.
That's the secret that's how you got good at everything you're good at. You just consistency and discipline.
You mean babies don't, after they fall down once, they don't quit on that walking thing?
Isn't that weird? Yeah. So, that's the strategy. And so I'm just putting my best stuff. I put my best stuff out. And then people buy from me as a thank you in appreciation. They're not buying because there's extra secrets. Like, there's more context, there's more material, but they spend their time in my little online tribe with me because I give them. I love them first, so they start to love me back eventually. Or they don't, and they don't they don't jump in.
Some are going to hate you, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. But that's always true. It's just true online too. It's just true with more people. And so it feels like amplified maybe because people will actually say something that they wouldn't say to your face. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really use I know it sounds crazy, but I don't really use social media that much. Like I put a lot of stuff out, but I don't really use the feed. I don't consume a lot of social media.
Post and ghost.
I do. Now I interact with my own posts. Like when people are talking to me, I'm always back in there with them. Or if you're in my DMs, I'll talk to you in the DMs or whatever. But I'm not looking through social media to try to find out how things are going with y'all. Like, I
look through social media to learn. That's how I found you.
That's a different thing. Well,
I try to learn.
I commented on your post. I am using it, but I'm using it to like I don't know what I said on your post or which post it was, but as I'm working through and I see something good, I don't just go, oh, cool. Like I want to give you a word of encouragement, man. And so that's a way for me to give. So I stop, and it's not much, but it's like dropping $1 in the tip jar, man. Like it's social currency. Like, here, man, I'll tip you. You're throwing out bomb stuff on Instagram. Dude, I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that for the community. Here's your $1 or whatever. Not that I'm giving you the gift of my comment, but it works like that, like social currency.
No, it was. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Like you said something nice. And I was like, oh, who's this? And then I go, oh, look at that. And now look here, we're going to be friends. Like,
I hope so.
We got too much in common. Like, we're going to be friends, man. Right. Like, I'm going to hit you up. You're going to hit me up. We got a mutual friend in Mearswack. Like it just is what it is. I have schools. You have a school, and so I'm doing this Easton. We're calling it Easton Online. It's a very similar thing. We're creating digital courses for school owners of exactly how we do it. And we're not charging $30,000. Right? Yeah. Like a course, like it's gonna, people are gonna pay, but it's gonna be a reasonable amount, like 3 memberships a month. If you should crush it. You should get way more than 3 memberships, right? Because
if you can't get 3 memberships a month off of it, then it definitely ain't worth no money.
Well, either I'm not doing it right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? But like it goes back to the secrets thing and holding back. Look, I don't care if somebody opens up right next to me. That will raise my bar. I will then have to become better.
Yeah. Well, what will happen is that they'll help me educate the market. They'll help me to tell everybody in the city what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. And then when they have an experience over there that's less than optimal, they'll come here and they'll find the family and the tribe that they didn't even know they were looking for in the first place.
They were looking for in the first place because they're not looking for jiu-jitsu. Most people are not looking for jiu-jitsu.
People definitely not. And they're not looking for self-defense. They're not looking for somebody to teach me a cool submission. They're looking for their tribe, man. We're all looking for a place where we belong. And I think that is the most special thing that jiu-jitsu offers is, and you said it before, it's a way for that CEO and that Lamborghini man to sit in the same room with that Confederate flag man and come together and find terms that they can agree on. And now we can all grow together and we can become something 1 + 1 can equal 3 in that way. You know what I mean? It's synergistically more powerful.
It's what it does. That's why, again, rule number 1, man. Rule number 1, because it forces you to interact and we're beating each other up. And that's a really hard thing to do. It's really, really hard to beat people up, to get beat up and beat someone up and then get along afterwards and do it over and over and over again, because you are going to accidentally punch somebody in the face and kick them in the nuts.
You definitely going to knee somebody in the jaw. It's going to happen.
In the jaw and grab the back of their skin and all this stuff. And it's really, really hard, but we got to figure out how to get along, do this together and move on. So, you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry. Gotcha. So I think we got to go. I got to get my kids. Man, it's snowing out here. It's the 4th snow of the year. We got late start. So I got to get my kids out to school. But, man, I thank you very much, man. I appreciate you coming on, Brandon.
Man, it was a real pleasure for me. It's an honor, or like a legit honor. Thank you so much, man.
And I asked for your number on social media. We're gonna need to talk here because I need some tricks, man. I need some tricks. So this podcast is gonna come out on the 11th. Okay. So I'll send it to you. And if you could share and all that, that would be amazing.
Definitely.
And tell everyone where they can hit you up.
Instagram's great. BrandonMC.ninja on Instagram. And then I got a free course on how to stop getting crushed on the bottom of side control. It's at nogihelper.com. Just go there. So if you're interested in any of my stuff, just go take that free stuff off of my Instagram. My YouTube is BrandonMC.ninja. That's where I put out most of my content right now. But if you want just some free, like longer form material, nogihelper.com.
NogiHelper.com, BrandonMC.ninja. Go check them out, guys. Brandon, thank you very much, my man. Everybody, go out there and find your power.